Sanbonano Kumlano Agasbialo, known as KSBL, but today we're going to be speaking about all things mental health, the different disorders, the different issues that one faces. And I've got an amazing panel with me, still with famous people.
First time I really got into the music industry, and when I started seeing, how things are working, you get what I'm trying to say, and when I just saw how tense it gets in the music industry and in the back end, and what actually people get to do, to also like keep you out and for you not to be the guy there. So I think that was the point where I just went through a lot of anxiety.
Umsebenzi wami takes me to different places, takes me to different fields of society. We live in a world whereby we're exposed to different things. So when you go to a shack in Soweto and you meet a young one, a 10-year-old, taking care of a brother of 5 years, they're not able to provide for each other. And they think it's hard, you go back home and you think of that, which as that could be me. This is what young people, this is what society, this is what black people are facing on a day-to-day basis. That thing takes you far. When you're sitting at home, you can't couch in with them. That could have been me. But also that thing affected me as a person. Also, as umfana, as inkosana, born into a black family, you have certain responsibilities. You have to take care of your mother, you have to take care of girlfriends, plural, you have to take care of various things. So that pressure alone, when you are unable to provide, and there's a general expectation from you, it hits hard. And you sit there alone in your couch. Likely, it will depend on what support structure. So I'm just going to leave it at that.
I think, Twala, you touched on some very important things. One of them being the pressures associated with being a breadwinner. Black text, nan. But it's a reality for most of us, for people who look like our panel here. It's a reality. And that's the first time I suffered from any form of a mental health issue or an illness, which was, for me, was a depression. Not being able to provide for some people who are looking up to me or who are expecting who would know good. Now, my biggest thing is I'm at a point where I don't know what my next move is. And God forbid, should anything happen to me, what's the future of these people who are depending on me? Lenda yegube stigma in the black community. Yeah, well, we don't have enough outlets as well.
The first time experiencing stress is when I got out of school. I think it started way back. Like when you're still in school, you're still trying to figure out what you want to do with your life, Firstly, you're not decided, you don't know what to do. You don't know yourself, firstly. So self-discovering and also coming to Joburg for me was also a stress, and it's something that I'm going through right now as well. In the industry, especially since COVID happened, we lost a lot of jobs. We don't attend auditions as how we used to, like physical auditions. We have to do self-tapes, which is not giving us enough time, enough experience, enough. I think it's more effective if we attend an audition. It's stress. It's something that you don't plan. The minute you start piling things up, that's when everything starts. That's when you don't know when you need help as well. People around you see you, now you need help. So
do they see you though?
They do.
Because you said something very important. You said even now managing in stress, and we tend to just pebeza that how are you? Hey, and nobody actually takes the time out to follow up with what's going on. Yeah, well, I just think it starts with small conversations, Anjal, where we need to hold each other accountable in doing
Yeah. It's not easy. It's easier said than done.
Especially as a gent,
yeah, it's not that easy. It's ukusho ukuthi ngizofika kusibanibani ngithi You don't know how the response, you can't determine the response of that particular individual. Maybe those are thinking as and make it a mockery. That's what we're scared of. That's why when you're going through stuff, sometimes you tend to lock yourself in the room, which is a thing. That's where I am, and you don't even realize yourself that you are in that crisis. Yes, you have to talk about it, but it's not easy because Tina, where we grew up, issues of therapy, issues of seeing someone, it's far-fetched. It's a halapalu.
You know, I went to a police station recently, and Sebenama, what you call I'm a social worker.
Yeah.
And they do provide therapy for trauma cases. They do refer you. There's a toll-free number, nan. Yeah. So it's also educating ourselves because it's not always expensive.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes a lot for Umudu to open up. Yeah. Maybe we can talk about what outlets does one have? What outlets can one use? Yeah. If you're saying you're going through something, what is your outlet? Or what is your form of escape? Yeah. Which could be therapeutic for you. We need to unlearn, isn't it? What the things that we thought were right, isn't this ifundiswa amachida, estradini, isn't this ifundiswa omalume? So some things are not right. We need to unlearn. So we need to unlearn that. Stop putting up a front. Stop being happy all the time. It's okay not to be okay. Yeah. Be honest with yourself and be able to be in a space where you're vulnerable. If you're in a space like all over Bako or Abangan Bako, they make you feel uncomfortable by saying and it's clearly a problem, especially when around mental health. Then that circle of people is a problem. Yeah, but we need to start unlearning certain things. When I say unlearning, and I'm sorry because I know we're speaking about mental health, but it touches on so many things when I say unlearning. Because I remember one time we were sitting, Espanin, and this guy made a joke about this Han came over to his place drunk one time, and was 16. And he laughed, and I was just like, please never make that joke. It's not funny. And it's like, yeah, no, yes, back then we did it, but no, it's not right under any circumstance. Don't bring that up. It's not something to brag about. Now, there's an era of unlearning, an element of unlearning that needs to happen. So even when it comes to speaking out about things or opening up, or we need to unlearn.
I would say culture is really with mental health, because when we grow up, we're taught like you don't look at a person in the eye, you don't say such things, you don't do things this way, which is kind of limiting us from to speak out, to be vulnerable. It's okay not to be fine, to be happy. You were taught that in your culture, right? That's why right now it's affecting you.
I mean, I also think that culture does affect, and as he said, there are things that we have to unlearn, that we were taught from back then, that this is how things are supposed to be. Your woman must kneel down to you to give you food, like all those things. There's so much like, okay, as a man, you're not supposed to cook. As a man, you're not supposed to do this and that. Which for me, I feel like, there's no problem with you doing that if you are willing to and you want to do that, but in a cultural way, you are taught that, no, you are not supposed to do that at all. If you do this, there are certain things that happen to you as a man, or you are not man enough if certain things you don't do them and so on, which does affect, how we become moving forward and the people that we actually become. So yeah, culture does affect us in a way, but it's up to us, to unlearn those things and for us to be, better people to the next generation that's going to come after us and so on.
We live in a society where there's indoda must. That's it's even trending. Indoda must.
One word.
Girls do that to us. Girls do that to us. Indoda must. You must go check the statistics of suicidal rates among this father.
Yeah.
We don't have a place to go and cry to. And that indoda must is something that you guys keep on retweeting, keep on making it as a joke. You don't know how many people get affected by that alone. And like I go into cultural, I'm not going to go even deeper than that. Umuntu wesilisa in a normal household, akukho nabantu besilisa who, because of problems ekhaya, ngiqala ngidlule bar, have 2 drinks or 3 drinks before I get home. Ngoba ngiyamazi bengangena ngazivula nje isicapha. Yara. Some before they go home, baqala beyolala confidence kwabangani babo, because they know once wangivula isicapha ziyangena inkinga zale ekhaya. Yabo. Bona they have a place whereby bazobika khona inkinga. Mina njengobaba lomuzi, I don't have a place to bika lezo inkinga. So in order to prepare myself psychologically for what lies ahead, ngiyaqala ngishibize. Ngishama dampa u2, ngishama dampa u3, just to psychologically prepare me for what lies ahead. Mina, in my own experience, I don't believe, me personally, I don't believe abanye abasebenzela. Mina, what helped me was having a brother who was there for me during trying times. A brother who was able to come and say, that alone went a long way.
I'd just like to ask a question before Val. One, I 100% agree with everything everyone has said. It's your personal experience and some things that you voice as just factual. Yeah, well, but also I also believe in this philosophy of just making the world a better place. Is just acts of kindness.
Yeah.
Or we can all aglimazi umuntu awuncuza undawo ongene eTexini utsanibonani ninjani awuncuza. I promise you ngiyoncuza ngendawo ngeke ubhucune ukubhucuka angeke ugule just ukubingelela, simple greeting, a simple smile. Angisho ke lesi sale lesi I adopted, but it's just small things like that. I just like to ask, does anybody know anybody who's affected by mental illness within your circle? This could be a colleague, could be a family member.
Actually, I think people do go through it, they're hiding it.
So you don't know anyone personally?
I do myself.
Okay. Just one. Who's ever dated someone who's got like a mental health issue? Yeah. That's the topic. I'd like us to speak about this one day. Having a partner with, whether it's bipolar, whether it's schizophrenia, whether it's depression, whether it's because it opens your mind. You unlearn a lot of things that you thought you knew, and it just teaches you to be more sensitive about certain things. And the way you interact in abantu, because once it's in your circle,
I wanna ubusisiwe akabusisiwe umuntu wesilisa ngaze ebe nomuntu go through why. You also go through, I want to say mental health issues. You are taught a lot by the process, you know. Umngani wami would say walk away. Lo wakhe uDumile would say walk away. But it challenges you, you know, how you address. Sometimes your body come with ugal.
Red flag.
Ugal, red flag. I've been through here and I failed. You know, I don't want to fail you. I'm not gonna say it to you bluntly, mom, I've been through but I don't want to fail you. I'll just because I know you need help. And when I tell you what you need help, you'll be offended. You'll be offended. Say, Mom, you need help. You know, we're gonna do some stuff that is just understand. It needs someone who's professional to deal with it. And missing fear because it's so far-fetched. But I get as Mom King. Hey, man, King. What? Yeah, you shy. You shy.
You know, way of saying it.
You know, what would you know, so that's how it is, you know. And because you've been through that, because that's how relationships become toxic.
And vice versa.
And vice versa.
There are red flags that women would pick up. Hey, so it's not a one-sided thing. I don't want you to feel like you're overpowered because there's 3 gents on the panel, but in vice versa, it's just relationships in general.
Yeah, that's true. I also feel like the way that one addresses a situation is important. How you say it to me and you put it towards me is important, because you might say it in a way that I understand it better, and you might say it in a way that you offend me. So if you know your partner, you know what to say and how to go about it, which makes it easy.
Who's ever dated someone who's got like a mental health issue? Yeah. That's the topic. I'd like us to speak about this one day. Having a partner with, whether it's bipolar, whether it's schizophrenia, whether it's depression, whether it's because it opens your mind. You unlearn a lot of things that you thought you knew, and it just teaches you to be more sensitive about certain things. And the way you interact in abantu, because once it's in your circle,
That's true.
You know the gender struggle, gender-based violence, is also comes from one component of it. One component of it. One component, because I'm not an expert in the gender-based violence, come from mental issues, come from the inability for you to address certain issues.
A lot of it.
Yes,
Majority
we keep it okay. Some are derived from Gikula, some are derived from situation right now, then some are derived from culture, and the person we keep it away or vice versa. You know, and the mental health issue on its own needs to be dealt with at a very lower level. Because up until it becomes uncontrollable. You know, you make an example. Make a typical example.
Why was example now?
Okay.
Yes, it happens.
It happens. No, it happens.
And that's another thing we need to address. There's non-gender conformant.
It happens.
People just want to be boxed.
Yeah.
So we must stop assuming izinto and unlearn.
Ngiyajwayela okay. Ngiyami ngiyathanda. Ngiyajwayela okay. And ngijwayela ngifunda mhlamba grade 8 or grade 10. Ne? Maybe as a woman, as a guy, ukhule kuqala kumina ngomqondo. Ne? And I've never been with umuntu wesifazane before at that time. When ukukhulisiwe because wakhula kuqala, and maybe this is your fourth relationship with me, was ukuthi ngitshela ukuthi ngiyakuthanda fanele ngikushaya. Make an example. Be with me. Hamsana nami. Ne? That's maybe through your relationship nabantu join abelokishini mhlambe itago whatever wayikushaya. So wena umundoda ingakushayi ayikuthanda wena. Ne? Ufike kumina. Mina angibashayo abantu abanentshe benkulu nami. Yabo ngingakushaya, but kuwena you walk away because mina bengakushaya. And because that thing was not dealt with at a grassroots level in educating when I came, ukuthi umuntu akashawa, akathi umuntu asifazane akashawa, umuntu generally akashawa, it's assault. Akathi umuntu asifazane, because there's a notion ukuthi umuntu asifazane umuntu akashawa, it's a crime ukushawa umuntu regardless ukuthi ngiyinsizwa ngikhole ngilusa or umuntu asifazane kanjani. But fanele kuyigobisa kancane. Sikhulisane, educate-ane ukuthi this is wrong. Not this is wrong when it comes to you, or this is wrong when it comes to me. This is generally wrong. And we grow up with those notions because sigobanga entisancane. We do not have those facilities. Usamncane, and you've been bottling this thing up as you grow. Ugcina usuyikhiphela kumfazi wakho usushadile, or uyikhiphela kumina usushadile, or whatever. As a policy ekhaya unamadleba kanje. Ne? Umagcini igama lakho kubelani, ne? So ekhulu kubelani eprimary. Awuhlebe umcolo ngamadleba akhe. Eqedi ngale ngesibhaqo. My mother one day saw the problem. What's kubelani akayobona. Kanti leyo kubelani babe nenhlanhla ke. Bakhule mina ngizole ubandlulweni kubelani bakhule sekungconywana ekhaya. Bakwazi kumhambisa ukuthi uyobona umuntu. To the extent that this thing was so deep that was my option ukuthi uyafunda ukuthi surgery ukuthi amadlebe akhe ebuyile kanje. Ngoba affect leyo. Up until he went to someone owaziyo ohlala nezingane was when he had to accept. He was a grand man about it. It's cool about it. But wayembona ukuthi ekhula where you became a bully because of self-defense. Ukuthi njalo bengesikoleni sengiyobheka nalo bani lokho bethi namadlebe amakhulu mathiwa amadlebe namanje lo gama eCalibrand nje ubuza ube ngomadlebe so ngingambizi ngomadlebe if you see him one day liband lelo gama but growing up because uma wakwazi ukupick up esamncane ukuthi lento yam affecta nomfana angiyise endaweni ethize nakhona because he went to isikole esingconywana kunesami mhlawumbe no principal okwazi ukupick up ukuthi hayi intwana yagoqiwa yabo angikhulume noma wakhe so that uma wakhe ekwazi ukuvulela avenue yokuthi ekwazi ukuyobona umuntu yeah.
That was very interesting. It was very interesting. I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation and this panel. I just wish next time I see Enzo, we could have again an expert in the field because there's so many aspects to mental health and mental disorders. Someone who has schizophrenia cannot relate to what we're saying. Someone who has ADHD cannot relate to what we are speaking about. Someone who is bipolar cannot relate to what we're speaking about. And anxiety as well. And because we want to go deep into what triggers these things, what forms these things. So what was spoken here today is not the gospel truth. It's just our personal experience in our walks with mental issues or mental health issues, excuse me. And I just wish that this dialogue lives beyond this recording and that it could continue and continue and continue, that even our own personal capacities, even my 200 Dixon, but anyway, that was okay. I just like acting like the presenter of the show, so I can get a geek like Kaya. But I'll just let everybody introduce themselves and sign themselves out. Sebon.
Guys, it was good to be here.
Nalubala.
Sibongile abasibimile ngiyathemba ukuthi emakhaya singakwazi ukukhuluma ngalolu daba le-mental health more further ngoba esho bafo thank you ngiyabonga.
Yes, igama lami nguyolisa bekumnandi ukuba la lento lot khona okunye bengakwazi sengikwazi. I hope you guys also learn and take notes. Thank you.
G Smash here, also known as Owane Rubengo. It was really, great speaking to the guys here. I really learned a lot. There's so much that was spoken about and a lot that really just opened my mind to some of the things that I didn't really take seriously, but I saw that to some people, it really means a lot to them. So this was just our opinions. As I said, it's not the gospel, it's just what we think and what we go through.